Welcome to Real Talk, with discussions on the latest news in the ever-changing real estate market. Here are your hosts, Joe and Keara.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Real Talk. I am Joe, and this is Keara. We are back. How you doing, Keara?
Good. How are you?
I am doing good. We have a lot to go over on this episode. We are going to discuss buyers, sellers. We have rates we're going to go over, a new program that we're starting for veterans. We have a ton. So I'm going to start it off with Keara, and we're going to go into buyers.
So right now the market's changing a little bit. We're seeing prices maybe level out. The home prices right now, you're not getting 50, 60, even 100 over ask anymore. So it's definitely important as a buyer to realize that there is opportunity in this market even though the rates went up. So why don't you touch on what you need to be prepared and ready and able to go out there and start submitting offers?
So the biggest problem that I've been having with buyers is that if you're looking to buy a house, you have to understand that time is of the essence. And you need to have all your ducks in a row. You need to have your pre-qualification letter, your proof of funds.
Have your documents ready.
Have all your documents ready. Otherwise, we're just wasting time.
Right.
Wasting their time, wasting my time. And I don't have the time to drive somebody around. And then they say, oh, I love this house. I want to put an offer on this house.
Right.
Now we have to go back and get a pre-approval from Keara. And it's going to take 24, 48 hours. And everything gets pushed back.
Right.
So when I come to a buyer and I say, okay, this is what you're looking for. I want to know exactly. Are you in a rush? Do you need to buy right now? Are you in a hurry? Are you renting? Do you have a house? You need to sell the house to buy something? I need to have certain questions answered before we proceed.
Right.
And it seems like a lot of buyers just don't get that.
Right.
Where, for example, a buyer last week, they showed me a house they wanted to go see, and I took them out at the house. They didn't like that house. Another house they show, the real estate agent sent me a text saying, I need to see proof of funds or pre-approval.
Like to get it moving for the offer.
Right.
Yep.
I went to them and I said, I need your proof of funds or a pre-approval. They turned back to me and said, Joe, you're putting too much pressure on me. And I said, this isn't coming from me. You have to understand I need this anyway.
Right. And for a seller, for them to take you serious as the buyer's agent and to take the buyer themselves serious, they want to see a pre-approval letter. Because this is not, you're not buying someone's used car. You're buying a piece of property that's can be millions of dollars, and you need to be able to show proof of funds. So that's why I always say the first step, get pre-approved, get it out of the way, know how much you qualify for, and get out there, submit offers, and they'll take you more seriously.
That's right. So what I did with this one particular buyer was I actually took them out without having their proof of funds because they seemed extremely interested. They were going to pay all cash originally. They seemed very interested, so I said, okay, let me just take them out. They wanted to go see it that day, and then I was going to get their information.
Like your best
against my
judgment.
better judgment, and it kicked me right in the ass. Moving ahead, every single buyer I speak to, from now on, I don't care who you are, you're sending me your pre-approval or your proof of funds.
Right.
And we're sitting down, we have a meeting, and I want to go over everything with you, exactly what you're looking for in a house, what your time frame is it urgent? Do you need to buy something soon?
Right this second.
Yeah, because if you're not in a rush, then now this changes everything. If you say, okay,
browse.
that's right. You're waiting for the market to dip or whatever these people think is going to happen.
Right.
So that's a very important thing moving ahead for real estate agents. Make sure you have a pre-approval or proof of funds from your buyer before you take them out. Otherwise, you're just wasting time.
And as a buyer, to stay on that subject of the pre-approval, a lot of people think that when they go and get the pre-approval, it's like damaging their credit, like destroying your credit score. It doesn't. When you get a hard pull on your credit for a financing inquiry, when you're getting approved by a bank or a broker, it shows up. It's not showing up like a late car payment. It's showing up like you're looking to obtain a mortgage, and the bureaus understand that. They give you actually, I call it a 2-week shopping window. So say you go to X bank, you get your pre-approval, you go to Y bank and you get your pre-approval. You're not damaging your score. They understand that you're shopping for a mortgage. It actually, truthfully, only brings your score down anywhere from 2 to 5 points.
That's it.
And everyone thinks like 30 points, 50 points, my score is going to go down. It's only really 2 to 5 points. Get it done. You know how much you qualify for. You move on. You get out there, submit offers.
That's right. On the flip side, from the buyers to the sellers, this is another interesting situation that we're dealing with. So if you're a seller, again, there are certain questions I need to know when I go on that listing appointment. Do you need to move out quickly? Do you have a place to live? Now, I also need to know, which a lot of people don't think about, which is when can I show the house? It has to be ready, and it has to be certain hours people need to see the house. Also, staging of the house is very important.
Right.
When somebody walks in, they don't want to see clutter. they want to think that you're moving out already.
Right.
They want to see that you're preparing.
It's a fresh house,
right. Clean,
ready
or
to go.
things are being boxed out, and there's rooms with all boxes. People don't care if your house is, a little messy.
Right.
It's nice to have your house
But you
beautiful.
should have it put together. Like, you're selling a house, you want to attract good buyers, so
That's
just
right.
clean it. And you're moving out anyway, so you have to move all your items out anyway. So what do you think the top things they should do are? Obviously declutter.
Declutter.
Wipe everything down.
Everything needs to be decluttered. Landscaping is very important.
Right.
You don't want somebody coming in and there's 4 feet of grass in the backyard and it's a mess.
Right.
You want to have the house looking where people can picture certain things when they walk in and go, oh, this could be my baby's room. If you walk into a room and it stinks of kitty litter, then they're going to not even think about that's where they're going to put their baby in.
Right.
So you need to
It's going to turn them off from the sale,
100%.
even if it meets their criteria of like bedroom count, bathrooms, space in the backyard. If they get like a bad smell or like weird, like different things can throw people off,
That's
even
right.
if it's a perfect match.
Yeah.
So
I could walk into a house and just from seeing so many houses, I could walk in and say, okay, well, you could break down that wall. And in my mind, I'm already planning what I could do for these people for the house. But it's very hard to do that when the house is disgusting. And not everybody has the ability to, hire maids, and I totally get that. But you can present it a little nicer.
Right.
It's only going to give you more money. People who are selling the house have to stop listening to people who are not in the industry.
Right.
In other words, don't listen to your neighbor who said, well, I got $500,000 for my house. You should get
In
$550 for
2010.
your house. Yeah, you should get $550 for your house. Meanwhile, they never stepped in your house,
Right.
and they don't know what a shit show it is.
Right.
They need to they're not in the industry.
Right. It goes off of the market comps. That's like the biggest thing I always
Yep.
say. Like, people are like, how much is my house worth? How much should I put an offer on? It's all on the market comps. Like, if your house sold for $500 today, but someone else's house sold for $450 3 months ago, like, there's a change in the market.
100%.
You have to look at the market comps for the last, what did you say, 3 months is the best indicator?
Right now, 3 months, yeah.
Yeah.
Before, what was happening is a lot of people also going back to January and February and
When it was
going
hot.
when it was hot.
Like COVID.
And for example, the house sold for $500,000 and it closed in July. So
Right.
these people turn around and go, oh, that was only 2-3 months ago. No,
Right.
it closed in July.
Right.
That house went into contract maybe in January, February, March when it was
market's
3% interest rates.
Right.
And that's totally different than what it is now.
Right.
So now when you do comps on houses, you should really look about 90 days.
Right.
Go back about 90 days. It'll give you a good idea of what's out there, what's available, how many houses, what prices they're going for, and stop listening to people who aren't in the industry.
Right.
And stop listening to, on another situation, stop listening to people who were in the industry 20 years ago who think they know what they're talking
Right.
about, and they have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
It's a totally different
And that's
ballgame.
why you have to work with a buyer's agent. A lot of times I see buyers go out there and they're like, I don't need an agent, I'm going to submit offers. I had someone, he refused to work with a realtor. He overpaid for a house. The appraisal then came in short. So he was overpaying for the property because he was not working with a real estate agent to say, hey, you're overbidding right now.
Right.
You need to be more realistic, come down to this price. He had no idea. The seller just kept saying, I want this, I want this.
Yeah.
He gave in. And then the deal ended up having a lot of troubles because the appraisal didn't come in at value because he listened to the seller.
That's right.
He wasn't looking at the market with a real estate agent. So use an agent. It saves you massive headaches.
Oh, absolutely. And make sure you have a good attorney as well.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with a bad attorney right now on a house that the guy actually sent in. He sent in the letter and he never changed. It must have been a template.
Letter
And
for what?
It was the letter going back and forth to the attorney with the contract.
Oh, the contract. okay.
And he never changed the top of the letter. So it had a date from 2019. It had the wrong address, wrong buyer's name, and he sent it over. And we're going, and the attorney doesn't even answer the phone. And you're going, okay, if you're going to represent a buyer or a seller, make sure you have a real estate attorney.
Use a professional.
Yes, make sure it's a real estate
Yeah.
attorney. Nothing else.
Don't
That's all
use
you
your
need.
friend's mom's aunt's
No,
cousin who's an
that's right.
attorney and she specializes in securities
Yeah.
fraud or
Yeah.
she's a divorce attorney. That's great. Like, that's their specialty. Like,
Right.
just because you're an attorney doesn't mean like, oh great. Same thing with being a doctor. Just because you're a doctor doesn't mean you can go in and do
That's right.
brain surgery. Like,
Right.
you need to work with the specialist in that.
That's it.
If you're enjoying watching this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe to @WRTR100. We greatly appreciate it. Click the button right down there. Thank you. We appreciate you tuning in.
All right, guys. So there's been a big shift in the market, and a lot of real
Big
estate
shift.
agents are leaving the industry. From just Keller Williams nationwide, over 4,000 agents left in the last quarter. There were 1,400 agents that left MLS in New York in the last quarter.
Wow.
What this means, if you're a real estate agent, is very simple, and pay attention to me. You have a golden opportunity right now. You have to work, and you have to pick up that business that all these other real estate agents no longer have. Think of how many people you know that are real estate agents, that people on Facebook friends and everything else that say, oh, I'm not using you because my other friend is a real estate agent. Well, now they're out of the market.
My cousin's brother.
That's right.
Is an agent.
Now they're out of the industry.
Yeah.
So there's a very big opportunity for people. You have to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and explain to other real estate agents how to blow up their business and give them ideas, but you have to think outside the box and pull in as much business as possible and put your head down. Because what you do today is going to pay off no matter what in 60, 90 days from now.
Right.
And you're going to see real estate agents that you know that you thought were big. Now they're selling cars. Now they're at a bagel place, and they're doing all these different jobs. And you need to realize that this happens every about 10 years in the market.
Right.
There's a shift. This is a very unique shift. Housing prices went up, interest rates went up. Interest rates are going to continue to go up. The housing market's going to dip 20%.
Okay.
That's going to happen. Housing prices are going to come down.
Not a crash like everyone thinks.
Not
it's going to be a little
big
bit of a
crash.
leveling out.
Right. It's going to come down slowly. It has to. It's got to even out.
Mark the prediction.
I will tell you right now, this is, what's today's date? November 2022. By July of next year, it'll be a 15 to a 20% drop in housing prices.
Okay. In New York?
Nationwide.
Okay.
So, and your interest rates are at what right now?
High 6s, low 7% on a conventional loan.
This will stay interest rates, unless I'm wrong, between 6 to 8, you think?
I think it might go down a little bit, but
A little bit?
I don't have a crystal ball.
Okay. I do.
Okay.
So I'm going to
glad.
say interest
Good thing
rates
we
are going to
work
go.
together.
That's right. I'm going to say 6 to 8% interest rates.
Okay.
And I'm going to say a 15, 20% dip in the market.
Okay.
All right? So now, everybody was making so much money so easy when people were paying $100,000 over asking, who are now out of the business because now they're realizing how difficult
And
it
everyone
is.
was buying because the rates were low.
That's right, and rates were low. Those people are gone out of the industry, okay? So now when this market drops, just say 10%.
Right.
Those opportunities are out there. People are going to start buying houses big time again.
And if you're a buyer sitting on the sideline, realize that there's opportunity to, because sellers are going to have to be flexible if they want to move their house off the market.
That's right.
So.
You have to adjust pricing, and you have to show the sellers of the house, when you have a listing, you have to be honest with them and say, listen, realistically, right now, you're going to get $500,000 for your house.
Right.
You want to wait until springtime? That might be $475,000, and you're not going to have the amount of buyers.
Right.
You don't know where interest rates are going to go.
Right.
If everybody, listen, I told you what I think. If everybody knew exactly which way the market was going to go, everybody'd be a billionaire.
Right, of course.
It's the same thing as the stock market.
But there's still always opportunity is the point.
Absolutely.
So just because there's a market change, there's still opportunity. Whether you're a buyer, you have the flexibility coming in from the sellers potentially. And then if you're a seller, now is still a good time to sell because we don't know what's going to happen in 6 months.
That's right.
So
but just
be
get
realistic.
get to work if you're a real estate agent. And if you need any help, join the LeBrandy team. 631-236-9012. I'm here to help you at all times. Now we want to go over numbers.
Okay. So we're going to go over a sample payment for, this is tailored to a property on Long Island. We're going to call it a $650 purchase price.
Okay.
Say you're putting 10% down. What does that look like for you as a buyer, and how much do you need to afford that purchase point? So $650 with 10% down is $65,000.
That's right.
You need another 5 to 6% in the state of New York budgeted for closing costs. If you factor in New York State tax and insurance, compile that with your principal and your interest on a $650 purchase, you're looking at above $5,000 a month or so in your monthly payment all in. Mm-hmm. How much do you need to be making a year to afford that? Yourself combined with your significant other, or maybe you're buying a house with your brother or your sister, whatever it may be. Combined or just yourself, you need to be making around $130,000 plus a year in your annual income to be able to afford a $650,000 purchase at 10% down.
Awesome.
Just as an example. So these are things that you should be going over with your loan officer to see if you can afford it. Back to our whole point, get pre-approved, see how much you qualify for.
Now this is also contingent on their credit score.
Right.
And a few other things
Yeah,
as well.
you need to have good credit score, be able to show your proof of funds, of course. And proof of funds, a lot of people think you need to have like thousands of dollars sitting in your savings account. You can show your 401k, a 403b. You can show stocks as long as you're able to liquidate them. You can show that as proof of funds. Crypto, believe it or not, with certain lenders. Keynote right there.
Certain lenders.
Yeah. Certain lenders will accept crypto for proof of funds. And then your typical, obviously, savings account as well.
Awesome.
Don't deposit $100,000 of cash into your bank account, but just speak with a loan officer or your financial advisor and make sure you're doing it correctly.
And don't make any big purchases.
Yeah, don't go out and buy like a new Mercedes right now if you're looking to buy a house. Just consult with a loan officer.
Okay.
See where you are debt-wise, because we do have a formula for your debt to income ratio that helps us understand how much you qualify for, and then you're better aware of what you can be doing for your offers.
That's right. What I want to discuss now, I think, is pretty big news. You're going to learn some of this for the first time. So, been watching the news for a very long time now, and you see how many homeless people are out there. And a lot of these people are veterans. People who served this country, fought for this country, bled for this country, and they're homeless. And I was sitting back, and I decided that I wanted to start working with veterans. And I wanted to find veterans housing. So I got in touch with the VA, and I've been working with getting veterans who are homeless or about to be homeless, rentals. So it's been very rewarding, honestly.
Right.
And there's not a lot of money to be made in rentals.
Right, but you're still changing someone's situation that normally would have either been stuck
That's
or
right.
You could help them. You're helping them change their life.
My dad is a veteran, served in the Army. He was actually in the Army at the same time Elvis was in the Army. They were both in Germany together at the same time. Never saw him, but he was in Germany at the same time.
Fun fact.
Yes, fun little fact. So I have a lot of respect for people in the military. And I decided to take this a step further. And what I did was, I have a very good friend who is a veteran, and he served in Iraq and Afghanistan. He did several tours, and he came over, and he became a recruiter in Long Island.
Okay.
He was running the bases here, and he got pretty big, and they shipped him out to California, and now he's doing it there. And I called him up, and I said, listen, you know what I'm doing with real estate. This is what I would like to do. And he said, not a problem. He's going to get me with you in front of hundreds of soldiers and explain to them, educate them, help them buy a house, help them sell a house,
Right.
help them with the benefits that they get if they're a veteran.
Right.
No money down,
Yeah.
low interest rates.
Legit, no money down as a veteran. You still have to factor in a closing costs that they're going to need to pay, but you can legit put zero money down as your down payment as a veteran, and then you also have your exposure to lower interest rates as a veteran too.
That's right. I then took it another step further, which is I already spoke to the owners of Keller Williams, and I'm creating a program called Real Heroes. And it's a two-step process. The first thing is when we go in and we're speaking to these soldiers and people in the military, active, non-active, I'm going to give them the opportunity to become a licensed real estate agent. So they have a second career.
Right.
So now, after they become a licensed real estate agent, and I'm going to sponsor them nationwide, wherever they decide to move to, through Keller Williams' office, through me. The next step is I'm creating a program called Real Heroes, where it's going to be licensed real estate agents that are veterans, assisting other veterans
Right.
nationwide in finding them housing.
Right.
And I want to create this group where it's a nationwide group. So if you have a friend of yours that you served in the military with who's moved out to Idaho and he's homeless, you'll be able to help him get a rental.
Right.
If you have somebody who you know is in a different state who is in the military and they are looking to buy their first home.
Right.
And it'll be a great way for veterans to, first of all, make some pretty decent money, but also help other veterans.
Right, and their network is going to be obviously strong military base,
That's right.
depending on how long they served. But a lot of times veterans come out and they don't have a job lined up for them.
That's
like
right.
they learned a lot of skills while they were active duty, but a lot of times they come out and they struggle to find a place to work that's going to pay like decent pay, if not really strong pay. So either finding a second career with real estate, and then the flip side of it is they should be more aware of the benefits, and that's what our plan is, to educate
That's our
them,
plan.
have an understanding of the down payment programs they can take advantage of, and there's not even just buying a home. There's tons of benefits as a veteran, especially in New York. When
right.
you come out of active duty, even if you're
Serving.
you could. There's so much benefits that I feel like a lot of people don't know about.
So myself and Keara, hopefully starting in the next few weeks, are going to be going to military bases, not only in New York, but on the entire East Coast. So we have access now to be able to go to military bases that have a minimum, 500 soldiers at,
Right.
and speak to them.
Right.
And
Open up
help
the opportunity.
them, give them the opportunity, explain to them the benefits. And we're talking about, there's tons of military bases on the East Coast.
Right.
So we're going to have access to a lot of people to hopefully help them out.
Right.
And again, it's going to be called Real Heroes, and I'll be in charge of it. And Keara's going to be assisting as far as the mortgages go. And I'm very excited about the potential that this has.
Yeah. It's
So-
going to be an awesome program, so
It is.
look out for more information.
That's
we'll
right.
put it in the show notes.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, if you're following us, like, comment, and share everywhere. We need to get more subscribers. We need to get sponsors. We need to blow this thing up and become the biggest podcast on YouTube. And the only way we're going to do it is with your help. So if you say you're my friend, I don't want to hear you're my friend. Comment, like, and share. Then you're my friend.
That's how we know you're a real friend.
That's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not a friend.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
if you're
guys.
looking to buy a house, call Joe. If you need financing for a house, call me. All of our information will be below. Thank you for tuning in.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
You've been watching Real Talk, the latest news in real estate with Joe and Keara. If you'd like to submit a topic for discussion or have any other questions, leave a comment below. We'll talk to you next time.